Hey everybody, hey Barry Lee, how are you? Welcome to Zennie62. It's a very special Zennie62 because I decided to alter the title to represent the fact that this, and we're starting right now, Barry Lee, when you start and you put out your hashtag, please emphasize hashtag, three hashtags. Hashtag Oscars, hashtag Oakland, hashtag SF, hashtag Raiders. There you go. Hey Richard, Richard, hey, you deserve a medal today because this could not have happened. The coverage of the lawsuit news conference could not have happened without you. And not only that, Sandra Varner contacted me and told me she packaged the videos that you created on behalf of Zennie62 Media, us, investors all, to be sent to KRON TV4 San Francisco. Don't know if they were used. Didn't check the Cron website, but hopefully, maybe someone can fill us in. KRON is, hey, look, the state of media today is that KRON is not at all what it used to be. But it's still a relevant player in Bay Area media, and I'm delighted that Sandra thought enough of the coverage that was provided, thank you to Richard Hike, who's on right now, you can thank him, to send it over to KRON. And nope, and hopefully it broadcasted, and the specific instructions were to credit Zennie62, YouTube, Zennie Abraham and Zennie62, of which you are. Now, nope, I did not charge KRON because it's the broadcast exposure I want, and so I'll take that. Thank you for sending the tweet, Barry Lee. But this is a very special and very weird day. I mean, the title reflects it. The title of this reflects it. Oakland Raiders lawsuit, SF Mayor Breed robbed. You'll say, what's that about? Particularly if you don't live in San Francisco. Oscar nominations. Wonder Woman was snubbed. Hey, so was James Franco. But Wonder Woman was snubbed. In Alaska, we had a 7.9 on the Richter scale undersea earthquake, 157 miles from Kodiak, Alaska. But it didn't stop there. By 6:24 p.m. Eastern Time, there were 61 earthquakes, and not one of those earthquakes, folks, not one of them, was less than 3.1 on the Richter scale. You hear what I just told you? Okay? The tsunami warning goes out. Everyone acts like, whatever. A what? A what? Reminds me of a line in Jaws where the guy said, it's a tiger shark. And the other guy says, a what? Okay? That's the kind of reaction to the tsunami warning that was out there, all right? And Barry Lee asks, isn't that part of the Ring of Fire? Correct. And if you went to the website of the United States Geological Survey, hey, ML Scott, you would see right off the bat that the Ring of Fire was on fire today. It wasn't just the jumble of earthquakes, just, if you like, 250 kilometers near 250 kilometers near Kodiak, Alaska, but it was also the 6.1 earthquake in Indonesia, the other 5.1 earthquake in the middle of the South Pacific, among others. There were, in total, if you take the bundle of earthquakes in just 157 miles south of Kodiak, Alaska as one, there were 6 different earthquakes going on, 7 different earthquakes going on in the Ring of Fire. Actually 8, because you had a bunch of smaller ones in central California and toward the south, okay? And there may very well have been more. I didn't bother to check past 7 o'clock in the evening, Eastern Standard Time, where I'm at right now. So But Barry Lee, you're right. It's part of the Ring of Fire. And again, thank you for the tweet. And Richard Hike, awesome work. Richard says that Wonder Woman wasn't that good. I disagree. I saw Wonder Woman 5 times. I thought it was amazing. It did its job. I have another theory, but we can argue about that. That's what this is about. Barry Lee says, it makes you wonder. I'm reading the comments down here for those of you who are new to my show here. He says, it makes you wonder if these events aren't putting more pressure on the faults in California or releasing them. You know, there's two schools of thought there. Hennessy says, NFL rejected the veterans ad for the Super Bowl, and all I can say is, wow. And no, I think that's a good thing that they did that. I wonder, however, if the NFL released a statement on that. And, you know, we've got... So anyway, the point is, not only that, there's other stuff I even mentioned here. We had a school shooting in Kentucky. One person, dead, I think 6 wounded. The shooter was apprehended, and thankfully, and caught him alive and will be, you know, summarily punished. So a lot to pack in a day. It really is a lot. But again, I want to thank Richard for his work in showing us not just one live stream, but he did 3, which have gained a total of over 1,000 views and climbing. So thank you very much. That was, again, Richard, fantastic work on your part. I can't say enough for what you've done. By the way, if you could tweet out one more with just hashtag Las Vegas, 2 hashtags, Vegas and Las Vegas. I want to rope them in here. We got a lot to go over. First of all, because this morning started with the Oscar nominations, I'm going to go over them as we discussed, and I'm going to talk about them. And then, Richard, you can get out your Wonder Woman yayas, because, look, I got my Wonder Woman yayas for Wonder Woman. You got your Wonder Woman yayas against the movie. I thought the movie was fantastic. And I'm going to tweet this out one more again as I go along. And also, let's see what else is going on here. Is there any... Oh, I'll put this on. Thank you. Hey, by the way, thumbs up if you're just joining us. Welcome to Zennie62 Live on a Tuesday night. And I promise you a rousing show. This is, as the late, great, probably before your age and time, Ed Sullivan said, this is going to be a really big shoe. A really big shoe. Really big shoe. He was popular when I was little, okay? He was popular when I was little. I did say that, and yeah, that's the case. It was popular when I was little. But let me go on with the shoe, okay? In fact, last night, now that I'm thinking about it, let me check. Let's do a little Las Vegas check-in here regarding the Stadium Authority and that awaited development agreement. I don't want that thing to slip underneath and out of our, you know, out of our collective attention span, right? So, Las Vegas Stadium Authority. Now, you would say, what am I talking about here? I am talking about the development agreement that's supposed to be reviewed at the Stadium Authority, but they hadn't posted the PDF file, right? That meeting is this coming January 25th. Will anybody be there to ask Mark Bourdain what he thinks about this, you know, coming lawsuit? Because it is coming, all right? Now, update, no development agreement. Richard Hike says, I'm excited that Get Out got 4 nominations. So am I. I am. There's no development agreement listed. There's still what was listed I talked about yesterday. The agenda from the last meeting, the meeting minutes, excuse me, the agenda for this meeting on Thursday, the meeting minutes, public comment, Stadium Authority quarterly economic survey, local chamber nominations, which is a mess, and the joint use agreement. That's it. There's no PDF file representing the stadium development agreement. That's interesting. I'll bet you they drop it like it's hot at the last second. That's what they do things. That's the way they do with controversial documents. Now, let's switch to the discussion of the 90th Academy Awards, and I have my handy dandy courtesy of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, courtesy of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences Oscar nominations list and fact sheet, which last night we said we go over first, and that's precisely what we're going to do, starting right out now. And this is really interesting. Okay, we got. Let's recap. Best Motion Picture of the year. Best Motion Picture of the year. These are the nominees: Call Me by Your Name, Darkest Hour. We've got. Let's see here. That's. Wow, that's interesting. We have for Darkest Hour, that's Focus Features, and then we've got Dunkirk by Warner Bros. You might see Dunkirk, and we've got Get Out by Universal. That's what Richard's talking about, and we've got Lady Bird, which I haven't seen. I saw. We have as well as. We have The Post, which I saw and liked a great deal, and quite a bit. And we have The Shape of Water, which I'm actually dying to see but haven't seen yet. Okay, so get into your comments about that. And I will say, I don't want to confuse playing, the lawsuit. I mean, hopefully you saw the lawsuit live stream today. If you did, that's great. But I'll get to that later. I want to get the Oscar conversation started and then, mold them into a kind of a two-way discussion. A little bit of here, a little bit talk here, right? And then a little bit talk there. Okay, that's how I want to do it. So that's my grand plan. Now, we've got Richard Hike says he's excited for Get Out's 4 nominations. Rick Rice says, what happened with the Raiders lawsuit announcement? I'll get to that in a second, Rick. Joshua Stevens says, bring on the lawsuit. We'll get there. Richard Hike says, Dunkirk was decent. Did it make you feel like you're going to drown? Barry Lee says, the announcement was still the same as exploring all options. Yeah, there was really nothing new. Rick Rice says, Dunkirk should win Best Picture hands down. Really? Is that right? Huh. Rick Rice says, I've seen all and Dunkirk is king. Hey, Rick Rice, what was it about Dunkirk that you like so much? And while you're explaining that, I'll go on and discuss the next set of awards, which are, achievement in directing. And this is where I thought Patty Jenkins should have been placed. But hey, look, precursors being what they are, you normally look at the Directors Guild, right? And the Directors Guild, the DGA Awards, is the precursor for what happens in the Oscars. So we say DGA, Directors Guild Awards, and I'm typing DGA Guild, DGA homepage, and then there's the 70th Annual DGA Awards, right? And Oscar Feature Film Award nominees and feature film nominees. The DGA is it. Now, here's the deal. Among the ones that are nominated, and this will be, let's see here, that was January 11th. And the DGA has not been held yet, all right? But it's always the precursor. Whoever wins the Directors Guild Awards, 70-80% of the time wins the Academy Awards, all right? Now, Guillermo del Toro's Shape of Water, Greta Gerwig for Lady Bird. I see a pattern here. Martin McDonagh for 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. Christopher Nolan for Dunkirk. There you are, Rick Rice. And Jordan Peele for Get Out. So hey, and then okay, let's stop the presses. All right, Jordan Peele is in the hunt to win Best Director and Best Picture at the Oscars. When you hit, this is exciting. When you hit Directors Guild, we know he's nominated for the Academy, but look, this is not a token thing. I'm just putting it out there. When the Directors Guild nominates you, they are serious. Jordan Peele is nominated as one of those that will receive the Directors Guild Award. The Directors Guild winner, 80% of the time, 66% is a statistical sure thing. Excuse me, because I'm really excited about this. 80% of the time, the winner of the Directors Guild nails the Oscar. That's the way it's worked. Jordan Peele is listed as one of those nominees. It can happen, folks. And I love Get Out. I mean, I've seen Get Out now twice. I love Get Out. Outstanding movie. And, okay, outstanding movie. It really was a massively great statement. Rick Rice says he's seen them all, and Dunkirk is king, as I repeated. And Richard Hike says, glad things are moving forward as far as the lawsuit, but I don't think they should have made an announcement until they really had the county on board. I agree with you. It's like they're jumping the gun. And Richard says, I thought Dunkirk was a little underwhelming, still I enjoyed it. Rick Rice says, Tommy Wiseau for Best Actor. And Joseph Binsman says, Dunkirk was pretty good. So what I hear is a general consensus that Dunkirk is the movie that should win Best Picture. But let me ask you a question, having not seen Dunkirk. Does it have a message? Does it? Here's why I asked the question. Because Best Picture should always be the one that, if you think about the ones that have won, like Moonlight, they've always been those movies that unsettled you in some kind of way, that made you think, that made you reconsider the character of society, right? Like take Philadelphia with Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington, all right, as another example. That's why I like Wonder Woman so much, and I thought that it was robbed, because Wonder Woman made you question what you thought a superhero, female superhero, should look like and do on screen. That was powerful to me. And look, I've been a Wonder Woman fan since I was 6, okay? I mean 6 years old. So that movie was just so special, I cried the first time I saw it. That was me. So that's where I'm coming from, all right? That has a special, I have a special emotional bond to Wonder Woman. Always will. And I had questions about Gal Gadot playing it because I thought she was too skinny, but she, you know, stepped right into the boots and look, she hit a home run. And Joseph Binsman says basically the war is hell, talking about Dunkirk, but overcoming the odds is a true miracle. I do agree with Richard Hike that the first time I saw Dunkirk, it was underwhelming. I thought it would be on an even bigger scale. That's interesting because to me, what I saw seemed enough. I talked to my buddy Greg Haywood and his wife, and they just seen Dunkirk at the Grand Lake in Oakland, and their first reaction was, you know what, the drowning scenes were unsettling for them. Richard, the Ride Cam says, new SF mayor, I want to talk about that too. Richard Hike says, I haven't seen The Shape of Water, so I can't comment yet. However, I really like Del Toro, so do I. That being said, Get Out was the one that made me think. Yeah, and not only that, it's Get Out, I have to be honest, Get Out really encapsulates a lot of my experiences in life, and in a very humorous way. And I can't say, and even to today, okay? So, yeah, I agree with you there. Now, coming back to, oh, by the way, I should explain what happened with the SF mayor situation, because that is very controversial. And it just happened tonight. Hold on a second, folks. As some of you know, San Francisco Mayor Lee died. I've talked about him. And I'll get to your comment in a second, Joseph Binsman. To make a long story short right now, and I'll come back to it, London Breed was mayor, president of the Board of Supervisors, and I believe she was board chair, no, yeah, president of the Board of Supervisors and supervisor. So she was very powerful. There are people who thought that she was too powerful in that role. So they voted 10-2 to move her out of that spot as mayor and put in the new mayor as the interim guy, as the caretaker. The new mayor, and I'm still, you know, shocked about it, Mark Farrell, he is the acting mayor. And this is how is it explained by NBC News. I'll say this real quick and I'll come back. San Francisco Board of Supervisors voted 6-3 Tuesday night, tonight, to appoint Supervisor Mark Farrell. I believe he represents the Marina District. where the Balboa Cafe is, which you must go to if you ever visit San Francisco. Tell them Zennie sent you, but I digress. As the city's acting mayor, replacing London Breed. Farrell essentially will be a caretaker mayor until the June election, when Breed and other candidates are vying to serve the remainder of Mayor Ed Lee's term. The initial vote for Farrell was opposed by Supervisor Asha Safari and Mila Colin, who had nominated Breed for interim mayor, and then by Supervisor Katie Tang, who asked to rescind and change her previous vote in support of Farrell. A final confirmation vote for Farrell was 10-2, with Farrell abstaining and Cohen and Breed voting in opposition. Breed became the subject of the public comments during Tuesday's meeting. As board president, she had become acting mayor immediately after Lee's December 12th death. She also continued to serve as supervisor and board president, and some in the audience argued that she shouldn't hold three positions. Others argued, with Breed holding the seat, it gave her an unfair advantage over other male candidates in June. Breed, who appeared visibly shaken after the vote, stepped outside the board chambers and thanked her supporters, reminding them that there was still a campaign to run. "I'm born here and raised here. I will still do everything I can to take care of the city," Breed said. "I am still on the ballot June 5th. We need to get lined up and ready to go." Farrell was due to be sworn in Tuesday night. That's what happened. So that's messy, dirty San Francisco politics. London Breed was basically handpicked by Ed Lee. And, hey, you know what? It's sad. She was also the city's first female black mayor in its history. In fact, it's the first black mayor in its history. She becomes she has now the distinction of holding the shortest executive career since that Pope who got poisoned. So, I mean, and I hate to put it that way, but when things like this happen to you, your distinction becomes ignominious, right? That's what happened, all right? And I feel sorry for London Breed. I was shaken when I saw it, and I was like, what? Okay, there's your news. Back to the Oscars. Joseph Binsman says, part of that, talking about Dunkirk, is because I'm a student of World War II. This is Joseph Binsman saying, and he says, and I know about the Battle of Dunkirk. But rethinking about the movie, Christopher Nolan, the creator of the movie and director, definitely made his point and did well with his story. Then Joseph Binsman adds this. He says, I want to see Get Out. Joseph, you got to see Get Out. I haven't seen much up for Oscars this year. Rick Rice says, Get Out is good, but I feel like it got selected due to the Rooney Rule? That doesn't make any sense to me. No, Get Out is... Rick, are you really black? I still don't believe you're black, man. I really don't, okay? Rick Rice is this... He writes things that makes it sound like he's more like this right-wing white guy, and yet he says he's black. I don't believe it. I haven't seen him. I haven't met him, all right? I haven't met him. He's a fan, but I just kind of like, he comes out with this stuff, and I'm like, dude. Richard Lucero, he says, Get Out was awesome. Love you. Yeah, gotcha, man. So anyway, hey, look, you all can make fun of me because my favorite Wonder Woman wasn't even on there at all. Wonder Woman didn't even get selected for Best Special Effects, if I'm not mistaken. So, in fact, let me go through I got the list right in front of me here. So we've got, all right, now in terms of achievement and directing, we've got Dunkirk, Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, I don't know if anyone's seen that, and The Shape of Water. Now, picture and original screenplay, performance by an actor in a leading role. We have Timothy Chalamet, who, by the way, Tiffany Haddish was butchering names left and right this morning, man. It was like, oh, your name is, like, if it was Xenophon Abraham, it would have been like Xenophon Abraham, right? Okay, so anyway, performance by an actor in a leading role, we've got Timothy Chalamet, Daniel Day-Lewis, who's just, a god of actors, complete god. Daniel Kaluuya for Get Out, Chris Washington Get Out, it's his first nomination. Gary Oldman as Winston Churchill in Darkest Hour. Denzel Washington played Roman in Roman J. Israel Esquire, right? His 9th nomination and 6th in his category. He won for Oscars for his supporting role in Glory, his leading role in Training Day. He was nominated for roles in Malcolm X, The Hurricane, Flight, and Fences, and for a supporting role in Cry Freedom in 1987. He was also nominated in the Best Picture category last year for Fences. Training Day is one of the best performances I've ever seen by an actor in my entire life. Incredible. But, performance by an actor in a supporting role. Willem Dafoe is Bobby in the Florida Project. And then we have Woody Harrelson, who's Willoughby in 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Did anyone see that movie? I got to see that. And it's his 3rd nomination. Richard Jenkins, I have to say, Woody Harrelson has emerged from Cheers to become a top-flight actor, hasn't he? Richard Jenkins, Giles in The Shape of Water, his 2nd nomination, or 1st in this category. He was previously nominated for his leading role in The Visitor in 2008. Christopher Plummer. This is really interesting to me. Christopher Plummer, okay? J. Paul Getty. Now, in All the Money in the World, if you were paying attention, Kevin Spacey was to play the role that Christopher Plummer is, racking up the awards for. Really interesting. And then we've got Sam Rockwell, who's one of my favorite character actors, who played defense contractor in Iron Man 2, nominated. He played Dixon in 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. And so I'll get your comments about those actors as well. And so Richard Hike says, go and look for The Shape of Water. And Vic Wright says, I don't think Shape of Water has come out yet, has it? Yeah, it's out. It's playing in a number of theaters. Richard Hike says, screeners sometimes lean. Is that? Oh, interesting. You want to leak? Oh, leak. Okay. I think I missed a comment here. Richard Larisoro says, King Kong has nothing on me. E-Rise Cal says, Get Out is a great movie, suspenseful, it keeps you on edge. Yeah, it's got twists. Like toward the end, when his girlfriend, wife-to-be, is revealed she's actually this girl, and she's got this earphones on, and she's calling these guys, she's saying all this stuff to them. It's like, come on, I want to blank you, blank, blah, 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 blah. I was like, I rolled, man. It reminds me of a woman I met at the Balboa Cafe, 11 years ago. It was kind of like that, okay? I'll just say. It was hilarious. There's a lot of truths in Get Out that people don't like to hear or talk about, but they are right there. And a lot of brothers in particular have experienced them. And so Richard Hike's got to run. Hey, Richard, again, thank you very much for the work you did for Zennie62 Media today. And it was outstanding. Checks in the mail. Actually, no, I already sent it. So, true. And so we've got Corey Brown says, if they will ever do an Al Davis movie, then Christopher Walken would make a good older Al. But who would play Mark Davis? If Christopher Walken would play the older Al Davis, who plays Mark Davis at different stages of his life? You have to have 3 people, right? You have to have the child Mark Davis, the teenage Mark Davis, teenage/young adult Mark Davis, and then you have to have the adult Mark Davis. Name the actors that play Mark Davis at those different stages in his life. Corey Brown says, I got that one. Joseph Bensman says, Gary Oldman was pretty good in the latest Churchill movie, but I've seen better portrayals of Churchill. Albert Finney, I have The Gathering Storm at home. The Gathering Storm is an excellent film. I have that at home. And I think you're absolutely right. Albert Finney played a fantastic Richard Churchill. And I can't say it's the best Churchill I've seen, because I haven't seen The Darkest Hour. Rick Rice says, yes, Corey, Chris Farley as Mark Davis would be good. Ha! Chris Farley. I like, but he's passed away. So we have to name someone, right? So we have to name someone who's alive. I hate to say that. That's so sad, but it's true. G. Taylor, how are you? G. Taylor says, adult Mark Davis, Jim Carrey. I could see that. But Jim Carrey's a little tall for Mark Davis, right? Because Mr. Davis Mark is 5'2", like 5'2", 5'3". Okay, so you have to pick somebody who's of that stature. Jim Carrey is taller than that, so that would be a stretch. Excuse the pun. Excuse the pun. Hey, John Marks. John Marks is the film buff du jour. John, what do you think about the nominations? And Rick Rice says, fatter. That's a good one, Rick Rice. How you doing? And Vote Green says, I want to see Clint Eastwood as Al Davis. That would be interesting. In fact, I'm looking forward to Clint Eastwood's movie, you know, what is it, the 1517 to Paris? Every time I think of that number, I think of the 310 to Yuma, right? Remember that great movie? But anyway, how you doing, John Marks? John Marks, what do you think about, who do you think should win Best Picture and Best Actor? That's how far we've gotten. And Corey Brown says, is he really that short? Yeah, he is. Mr. Davis really is that short. Rick Rice says, Al Pacino as Al Davis. I like it. I like it. John Marks says, Jim Carrey as Mark Davis. Second vote for Jim Carrey is too tall to be Mark Davis. Jim Carrey is not 5'3". You know, Mark Davis is 5'3". Okay, I mean, you want to know how, you want to see a video of how tall Mark Davis is? Just go to Zennie62 here, type Mark Davis, and you know the videos where he's in it. Look at the height, even compared to me, because I'm standing right next to him and I'm interviewing him. All right. And Mark Badane is like 5'5". Okay, so so there you go. Rick Rice says Jim Carrey is too thin though. Gotcha. Now let me go back to, having said all that, let me go back to the list, and we were talking about actors, right? Now we're at performance by actress in a leading role. Sally Hawkins plays Eliza Esposito in The Shape of Water. It's her second nomination, the first of this category. I love Sally Hawkins, and John Marks, you might remember this movie, Godzilla. How many people remember the Gareth Edwards Godzilla? I love that movie, and I had the opportunity to interview one of the producers, executive producers, Brian Roberts, at the Variety Entertainment Summit in 2010 in Beverly Hills, actually in Studio City, excuse me. So, I mean, I thought it was absolutely stupendous movie. That's just me personally, and you know, popping off about that. And Rick Rice are saying, you're thinking about Dumb and Dumber, Jim Carrey. Yeah, I can definitely, yeah, you know what? I can see that. I can see that from that perspective. But in terms of height, it's not working for me. Because you have to pick someone like, you know, who would it be? I want to say Nathan, what's that Nathan guy that's played on Broadway so much is about Mark Davis' height and stature. Nathan, not Nathan Hale. It's not clicking in right now. But it's not clicking in right now. Let's see here. G. Taylor suggests that Mark Davis be played by Rosie O'Donnell. In much the same way, I suppose that, what's her name, played Sean Spicer? Melissa McCarthy, right? It's doable. Okay, so Melissa McCarthy is Mark Davis. There you go, right? That could, nah, not quite. I mean, we're just, you know, we're having fun here. But Rick Rice says Dave Chappelle as who? John Mark says Jeff Daniels as Mark Davis. Jeff Daniels is also too tall to be Mark Davis. Jeff, that's, I mean, I see that. But you have to have somebody that's 5'3", 5'4", in that area. That's the only way that can work. So, Jeff Bridges, no, I've met Mr. Bridges. Mr. Bridges is tall. Okay? If I stand up, Mr. Bridges is this tall compared to me. So that doesn't work. I've seen Jeff Bridges a bunch of times. I've stood next to Jeff Bridges. I'm too used to looking up at Jeff Bridges. So you can't have Jeff Bridges playing Mark Davis. Sorry, that doesn't work. No, not at all. I mean, he'd be honored, you know. You could probably talk Jeff Bridges into that role if you got him drunk and threw a lot of money at him. so, so just say I love Jeff Bridges as a person and an actor. You know, just a nice man. So we've got, moving along, we have, going back to our list, we've got, oh, you know, has anyone seen I, Tonya? I'm just asking. We're going down the list. I talked about Sandy Hawkins. We have now Frances McDormand, legendary, as Mildred in 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. It's her 5th nomination and 2nd in this category. She won an Oscar for her role in Fargo, which I have at home. And her other nominations were for her supporting roles in Mississippi Burning, Almost Famous, and North Country. That was in 1988, 2000, and 2005, respectively. Then there's Margot Robbie, who plays Tonya Harding. I have to tell you, the Olympics actually had a crush on Tonya Harding. I'll admit that. I didn't believe Tonya actually did all that, and it turned out, well, whatever. You can jump on me, whatever, I don't care. Tonya Harding in I, Tonya. This is Margot Robbie's first nomination. Saoirse Ronan plays Lady Bird McPherson in Lady Bird. This is her 3rd nomination and the 2nd in this category. Her other nominations were for a supporting role in Atonement and her leading role in Brooklyn in 2015. Then there's Meryl Streep, Kay Graham in The Post, and my prediction is that Meryl Streep will walk away with this, okay? If you've seen The Post, you have to be mesmerized by her performance as Kay Graham. She she transformed herself in little bitty ways that are just amazing. Just mannerisms and all that. She got it down. She really did. It was nice to see her transform into Katharine Graham. All right. It really was. This is her 21st. This is a record. This is Meryl Streep's 21st nomination and the 17th in this category. She won Oscars for her leading roles in Sophie's Choice and The Iron Lady, 2011, her supporting role in Kramer vs. Kramer in 79. Her other leading role nominations were for The French Lieutenant's Woman, Silkwood, Out of Africa in 85, Ironweed in 87, A Cry in the Dark in 88, Postcards from the Edge in 1990, The Bridges of Madison County in 1995, One True Thing in 1998, Music of the Heart in 1999, The Devil Wears Prada, loved it, saw it, 2006, Doubt, 2008, Julie and Julie in 2009, August Orange County in 2013, and Florence Foster Jennings in 2016. Her other supporting role nominations were for The Deer Hunter in 1978, excuse me. Deer Hunter, come on, Zenny. Adaptation in 2002, and Into the Woods in 2014. If you haven't seen Adaptation, I ask you to get out, find it, no pun intended as far as get out, find it, buy it, watch it. And I'll take your comments on that. But Meryl Streep, I don't know, Rick Rice, you liked The Post. I'm anxious to hear what you thought about that. And so let me go back. Let me go back here. Okay, now Jack Bauer says Jeff Bridges as John. Nah. Joseph Business says I want to see that movie. She's a great actress. Yeah. And John Mark says Star Wars: The Last Jedi gets my vote for best score. Agreed, mine too. And Rick Rice says you had a crush on Tonya Harding over Nancy Kerrigan. Nancy was way more fun. Rick Rice, you officially do not have a brother card. All right. Tonya Harding had tush and thighs. Okay. And I mean, Nancy Kerrigan was skinny. I mean, come on. No way. I mean, just no. No. Okay. Moving along. John Marks. Oh, this is hilarious. John Marks says Beau Bridges as Mark Bourdain. That might work. That might work, okay? Or, no, you know who could play Mark Bedane? Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman could play Mark, but no. Gary Oldman could play Mark Davis. Gary Oldman could play Mark Davis, yeah. We'll give Bo Bridges Mark Bedane. Joseph Bisman says, I think I'll go with my folks to see the Post this weekend before Sunday. Raider Flea, how you doing, Raider Flea? Says Kevin Hart is Mark Davis. O.G. Taylor says Collateral Beauty was good. I haven't seen that. And we have, I went by there really quick. Mike Zulin says Post is great. Too bad Hanks was not nominated. You know, it is too bad he was not nominated. But in fairness to the other nominees, I thought Tom did a good job of playing Ben Bradley, but I feel like it was more Tom than Bradley. But having said that, I thought he got a lot of Bradley's mannerisms down. And what came through most for me was, if you've ever worked in a newsroom, you've seen this, you're that person who's railing against power and who understands the duty of the press. And that was very much Ben Bradley at the time, and I think Hanks got that down. But does that qualify him to be nominated as Best Actor? I think that's for just, it's not so much that he did a bad job. He just had a crowded field. And it didn't rise to the occasion. Meryl Streep, she just wore the character. She wore that character in a way that Tom Hanks, with all due respect, did not wear his character. Does that make any sense? Okay. So we've got, G. Taylor wants Kevin Spacey as Mark Davis. Kevin Spacey is too tall. And I've also met Kevin Spacey. In fact, I have a video of me and a guy, Jason Miller. We were at the front, and I think Kevin Spacey told Jason Miller to screw off. It's a hilarious video. It was at CES, okay? Because Jason found me at CES this year and specifically reminded me of that video in light of everything that's happened to Mr. Spacey. I'm just saying. That was a hilarious moment at CES. In fact, you know what? I have that on my CES live stream. I ought to find the live stream and break out that moment. In fact, I will do that. Not right now. Anyway, we've got Tom Hanks for Raider owner, says John Marks. M.L. Scott says Philip Seymour Hoffman as Mark Davis, except that Philip Seymour Hoffman has passed away. Otherwise, were it not for the passing of this fantastic character actor, arguably the best of our generation, or one of the best of our generation, I would agree with you. But sadly, Philip Seymour Hoffman is not with us. Joseph Binsman says, still don't know how Tom Hanks didn't win for Saving Private Ryan, and I don't either. John Mark says Philip Seymour Hoffman passed away. Corey Dave Brown says, what about Sean Astin as Mark Davis? Rick Rice says, Ron Jeremy for Actor of the Decade. Rick Rice has got Ron Jeremy on the brain. He mentioned Ron Jeremy last night in a comment I deliberately skipped over. I noted it, though. Okay? Oh, I love this, though. John Mark says, Philip Seymour Hoffman's role as Art Howe in Moneyball was a stroke of genius. It was. It was. And I agree with M.L. Scott, who says, yes, it was. And John Mark says, Tonya Harding was hotter than Nancy Kerrigan. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mike Zillum says, Peggy Fleming was the hottest skater ever. Actually, Dorothy Hamill, too. Coolest, also Bay Area girl. Yeah. So, all right. So we've got... so I've got all your comments right there. I'll go back to the list. And now we are at performance by an actress in a leading role. Mary J. Blige, Florence Jackson in Mudbound. This is her first nomination in this category. She's also nominated in the original song category as Mary J. Blige. Allison Janney in Lavona. She's Lavona and I, Tonya, and it's her first nomination. We have Leslie Manville plays Cyril in Phantom Thread. It's her first nomination. Laurie Metcalf plays Mary McPherson in Lady Bird. This is her first nomination. Octavia Spencer plays Zelda Fuller in The Shape of Water. Gotta see that movie. This is her third nomination in this category. She won an Oscar in 2011 for The Help and was nominated last year for Hidden Figures and both. Okay, I'm live. Sorry about that, folks. This having energy issues of late with my phone, so hopefully this holds up. And I've got this doodad going, which didn't seem like power. The normally trusty power pocket, pocket juice wasn't properly juicing itself. So there we go. I normally recommend it. Today I would just say, all right, but whatever. There you go. Back in action. All right. Thank you. Nice to be back. Just hope this sucker holds, all right? Please, baby, please, please, as Spike Lee would have said in She's Gotta Have It. So anyway, let me set this right here and continue. Maybe if I set it right there, it'll, let me see if this is, it seems to be working. And I put it on low power too. Hold on a second, folks. Like I say, please, it's working? Okay, great. All right, cool. Well, let me, again, I'm back. All right, where were we? All right, back in the saddle. Well, I was actually never out of the saddle again. Let me go back and see what comments I missed of yours. Let's see here. And Corvette is here. And let's see here. Rick Rice says Vegas is a joke. I agree. Oakland Raiders are nothing, absolutely. And where were we? Oh, LX933 is here. How are you doing? He goes, why wasn't Zennie at City Hall today? They could use his help and guidance. Richard was, let me explain where Zennie62 is. I hired Richard as a vlogger to represent Zennie62 Media to go there. So we were represented. We have a live stream. So it's not a matter of me as a personality. I'm building a media company. And so right now I have, 5 people. I've got my friend Morgan, Richard, Go CSU signed up, Rick Saratella, and one other person signed up. And I can handle 50 people as managers on the site, okay? So I'm trying to build, I am building a network for the 21st century. I want to have an organization such that something can happen in Tokyo or an earthquake can happen in Alaska and we can live stream it. You can find out about it right here, okay? Right here, but then it's also broadcast in our blog network. It's on Zennie62.com, Oakland News Online, and 16 of the blogs in my 96 blog network, and on 60 of the Twitter accounts in my network of 400 Twitter accounts, okay? So that's the idea with this, all right? So, and so that's why I wasn't there. So anyway, thank you. I'm glad you liked the profile pic, by the way. So let's get back to talking about this stuff, all right? Dope Mono Expansion Team. Mike Zillin says, any chance the judge could enforce an injunction to stop work on Vegas Stadium if the lawyers ask for one? I'll find out. And I am back. Thank you. It's nice to be back. And back in the loop. That's right. Now we've got Rick Rice says, John Marks, you've been the man since day one. I agree. And we all love John Marks. That's the way it is. You've been the man since day one. Now back to our lively discussion, and it goes like this basically. Okay. We have, and I'm going to stop at 145 because just in anticipation of this battery situation, we'll just see how it goes. Okay, we'll see how it goes. But let me just continue. Mary J. Blige. Oh, I was talking about Octavia Spencer. And before I cut out, I have to say this. Do you realize that Octavia Spencer and Viola Davis hold the record for nominations by Black actress in Hollywood history for the Oscars? That's right. They each have 3. That's doing some work, all right? And then we've got animated screenplay. And you saw Den of Thieves? You liked it? I gotta see it, okay? Because you saw Rick Rice, I'll see Den of Thieves. I started to see it the other night. Animated screenplay. I also want to see Proud Mary. Animated screenplay. Call Me by Your Name. Screenplay by James Ivory, based on the novel by Andre Aikman. This is his 4th nomination, excuse me, and the first in this category. He received directing nominations for Room with a View, 1986, Howard's Inn in 1992, and The Remains of the Day in 1993. The Disaster Artist, screenplay by Scott Neustadter and Michael N. Weber, based on the book The Disaster Artist, My Life Inside the Room. The Greatest Bad Movie Ever, by Greg Sestero and Tom Bissell. It's the first nomination for both. And then Logan. Logan. I repeat, Logan. Screenplay by Scott Frank and James Mangold and Michael Green. Story by James Mangold, based on character created by Lin Wynn and John Romita Sr. This is the 2nd nomination for Scott Frank, who was previously nominated for his adopted screenplay for Out of Sight, and that was in 1998. This is his first nomination. This is the first nomination for both Mangold and Michael Green. Then Molly's Game, written for the screen by Aaron Sorkin, based on the book by Molly Bloom. This is his 3rd nomination. He won as an Oscar for his adapted screenplay, well-deserved, for The Social Network in 2010, and was nominated for the adopted screenplay for Moneyball in 2011. Mudbound, screenplay by Virgil Williams and Dee Rees, based on the novel by Hilary Jordan. This is the first nomination for both, and I'll take your comments right now, going back and seeing what your thoughts are. Rick Rice says he saw the surprisingly good Den of Thieves, and he says he had low expectations, but was pretty entertaining. Mike Zillin says Spencer, Octavia Spencer, is always good. She was really good in Water and funny. John Mark says, has anyone seen Inherent Vice? I have Inherent Vice. I have not, and I'm told that I should. Are you asking because you've seen it and are recommending it, or are you asking because you haven't seen it and want to know how it is? Just curious, John. Which, where you're coming from there. John Mark says, breaking news, earthquake hit Gilroy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. What? Let me check on this real quick. Earthquake hit Gilroy. How big, John? I'm going there right now. I'm going to USGS. I'm going there right now. Latest earthquakes. You felt it? Okay, I'm zooming in. This is 2.7, 6.3.9 of Interlaken. 3.9 on the Richter scale of Interlaken. Let me zoom in here. I don't see this as Gilroy. I'm looking at the USGS map. And I'm going further, and now that is, well, it's 2.7. There's 3.4, and there's 3.9. It must be 3.9. And then there's a 2.5. So it wasn't big, all right? It wasn't big. Just saying, it wasn't big. Yeah, 3.9, yeah. And you're in Santa Cruz, pretty small. Yeah, it wasn't, it wasn't 7.9 on the Richter scale, okay? Thankfully, all right? All right, moving along, and back to the Oscar discussion. We've got, back to the Oscar fact sheet and list. We are now at original screenplay. The Big Sick, written by Emily Gordon and Kamal Najani. This is the first nomination for both. Get Out, written by Jordan Peele. God, what a work of genius, One person has a message, an idea they want to express in film. They sit down, they write it, they direct it, and they're in line to win an Oscar Best Director and Oscar Best Picture. Let alone Best Director, the DGA, the Directors Guild. Not bad. Not bad at all. Lady Bird, written by Greta Gerwig. This is her first nomination in this category. She's also nominated in the directing category this year. The Shape of Water, screenplay by Guillermo del Toro and Vanessa Taylor, story by Guillermo del Toro. This is the second nomination in this category for Mr. del Toro, who was previously nominated for his original screenplay for Pan's Labyrinth in 2006. He is also nominated in the Best Picture and Directing categories this year. And this is the first nomination for Vanessa Taylor. Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, written by Martin McDonough. This is his second writing nomination and his fourth overall, according to the Academy, including Best Picture nominations. This year, he won an Oscar for the live-action short film Six Shooter in 2005 and was nominated for his original screenplay for In Bruges 2008. So that's where that comes in right there. And I guess no one has any comments about that. So I'll keep moving along and until we get to, or all you that's shaken up. Guys, most of you are back west, right? Because I'm out east. But it was small. It was small, all right? So, and John Marks, you are in Washington State, all right? Okay, moving along. We've got Best Foreign Language Film. You know, this is a long list. Chances are a lot of you haven't seen these. The people, well, the list of these isn't so long, but the people listed have a lot of previous credits, so I'm going to skip over this one and move forward, okay? We've got Best Animated Feature Film, The Boss Baby, The Breadwinner, Cuckoo by Walt Disney, and then we've got Toy Story, Ferdinand, 20th Century Fox, Loving Vincent by Good Deed Entertainment, and yeah, and that's that list. So we've got, some particular reason I didn't get the entire, I got part of that, but I didn't get all of the nominations for, those are the major ones. Those are the major nominations that were listed. It's not the full list. So let me go back, because we don't have the cinematography lists here. We have just the, you know, that one, right? So I'm going to go to Oscars.com, Oscar nominations, and The Shape of Water does lead, doesn't it? And full list of Oscar nominations. I'll give Variety some love here, right? And go forward. Yeah, we've got, and I'm waiting for this to open. And it's quite visited. Okay. Oscar nominations, the complete list. I'm going to just skip over the ones I read already. I'm going to go on the ones that I think you're going to be more interested in, like score, VFX, you know, and then we'll continue our discussion, okay? You know what I hate? Some of these web pages are so ad-laden with JavaScript ads that they take forever to open. Such is the case with Variety. All right, so we've went through leading actress, director, animated feature, animated short, animated screenplay, original screenplay, and now we come to cinematography. Blade Runner 2049, Roger Deakins, Darkest Hour, Bruno De Bono, Dunkirk, Hoyt van Hoytema, Mudbound, Rachel Morrison. Rachel Morrison becomes the first woman ever nominated for Oscar for work in cinematography. Congratulations to Rachel. The Shape of Water, Dan Lautzen. So that's for cinematography. Now for Best Documentary Feature, we have we have Abacus, Small Enough to Jail, Famous Places, Icarus, Last Man in Aleppo, and Strong Island. For Best Documentary Short Subject, we have Eve and Eddie, Heaven is a Traffic Jam, we have Heroin, Knife Skills, and Traffic Stop. Best live action short, we have DeKalb Elementary, The 11 O'Clock, My Nephew Emmett, The Silent Child, and Watu Wati, which is All of Us. And so there was, and then we have foreign language film, A Fantastic Woman, The Insult, Loveless, Body and Soul, and The Square. In film editing, we have Baby Driver, Dunkirk, I, Tonya, The Shape of Water, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. For sound editing, we have Baby Driver again, Blade Runner 2049, Dunkirk, The Shape of Water, and Star Wars: The Last Jedi. My prediction is that Star Wars will win this. Every time Star Wars has been up for its sound editing, it's cleared it. It's won. Sound mixing, Baby Driver, Blade Runner, Dunkirk, The Shape of Water, and Star Wars. So, look, if it's sound, it's Star Wars. You can mark that one right now. Production design, Beauty and the Beast, Blade Runner, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, and The Shape of Water. Original score, Dunkirk, Phantom Thread, The Shape of Water, Star Wars: The Last Jedi, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I think this is going to be a tough one because, you know, Star Wars, it was a great score, but it's John Williams, and I've been feeling that, hey, it's kind of easy to give it to him because of Star Wars. You know, let's see how this plays out. And then I'll go back to any comments you have. Now, so John Mark says, Boss Baby gets my vote. And Vote Green says, Coco will win the animated movie. And but he says, but he's Mexican. So, okay. Moving along, and we're almost through, which is, you know, quite fascinating, all right? Original song, Mighty River from Mudbound. Did anyone see Mudbound? I didn't see it. Mystery of Love from Call Me By Your Name. Remember Me from Coco. Stand Up for Something from Marshall. And that's Diane Warren and Common. This Is Me from The Greatest Showman. That's Ben Pesek and Justin Paul. That's a hard one to call, but I'm going to give it to Mighty River from Mudbound. That's by Mary J. Blige. Makeup and Hair. 3. The Darkest Hour. That's Kazu Tutsi and David Malawi and Lucy Civic. Victoria and Abdul. That's Daniel Phillips and Lou Shepard. Wonder. That's Arjun Tutin. Costume design. Beauty and the Beast. This is where Wonder Woman should have been listed. This was like Wonder Woman category. I mean, I can't believe that Wonder Woman was completely X'd out of the Academy Awards. Nothing, okay? Costume design. Beauty and the Beast. I mean, seriously. Beauty and the Beast, Darkest Hour, Phantom Thread, The Shape of Water, and Victoria and Abdul. And finally, we have visual effects, Blade Runner 2049, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Kong Skull Island, that's Stefan Rosenbaum, Jeff White, Scott Benza, and Mike Murdos, Star Wars: The Last Jedi, Ben Morris, Mike Mulholland, Chris Gorbos, and Neil Scallon, and War for the Planet of the Apes. Anyone see War for the Planet of the Apes? I haven't seen it yet. I've seen Skull Island twice. Star Wars: The Last Jedi was really just quite remarkable in a number of ways, but I think if I had to lay a bet, I think it's going to be Blade Runner. Blade Runner was just incredible. And I'll get to your comments. And Mike says McDormand and Oldman will win. Joseph Benson says McDormand is a great actress. So that clears that out. We talked Oscars. Now, we've got, in terms of, if you're going to bet Oscars, here's my advice. Don't bet based on who you think, what you saw. For example, I personally like The Post for Best Picture, right? But I don't think it's going to win Best Picture. What you do is you have to go to the precursors. For example, Best Director DGA generally wins Best Director at the Oscars. The Oscar Best Director winner generally gets Best Picture. That's the way that works. Screen Actors Guild over history has been the leading marker for who's going to get the Best Actor and Best Actress at the Oscars. So, if you want to look at it that way, and we're talking about, predictions, I just go to Screen Actors Guild Awards, right? And I can talk about the awards home at Screen Actors Guild, and I can tell you that there's a 70% chance that, for example, this year for film, Frances McDormand will get Best Actress at the Oscars. She got Best Actress at Screen Actors Guild, and Woody Harrelson, that was Outstanding Performance Cast in a Motion Picture. Yeah, female actor in leading role, that was Frances McDormand. Now, Best Actor was Gary Oldman. So that should carry over to the Oscars. Now, Daniel Kaluuya in Get Out is an underdog favorite. James Franco's not listed here. Timothée Chalamet in Call You By Your Name is another dark horse. Okay, Denzel Washington, Roman and Israel. That could happen as a kind of a sympathy vote for Denzel, who didn't get it for Fences, and everybody thought, oh my God, he should get Best Actor for Fences, but he didn't. And there was a hue and cry about that. This could be a sympathy vote from the Academy. That could happen, all right? So now I'll get back to your comments before I go any further along in my talk. There. Yeah, and I guess I don't have to. So anyway, there it is. Now, yeah, I don't have to. Awesome. So you're not asking any questions, and so I'm going to continue talking. Outstanding. Unless anybody has something burning they want to get off their mind, I will now shift gears and talk about the lawsuit issue. And I think, first of all, there should be some great concern on the part of the National Football League that this time the parties will succeed. I have to make a comment that Grizz had said, hey, stop reporting that we're out of it, we're dormant. But I called Grizz 3 times because a lot of you asked me, okay, what was going on, right? You said, hey, Zennie, what's happening, what's going on, right? And I said, I don't know. And I didn't know. But Grizz made a point of telling Richard Hike, well, don't report things because you're not in the loop. And my point is, it wasn't necessary to say that. And he could have, this is a time to bring people together, not kind of like say, whatever, right? But my point is, all I know at the end of the day is they had this big publicity thing originally, right? And then after the JPA vote, it went away. And everyone said, what happened? Okay? So it's not for me to assume if you don't tell me what's going on. Now, Russell Rivera was kind enough to buttonhole me and say, hey, Zennie, we're not dormant as you report, we're still active. And I did mention such a report before, okay? But when I got the press release, or whatever it was originally, not the one from Sandra, but the one that Grizz had put on Facebook, I called and I said, hey, you want to explain what's happening? Didn't get a call back. So if you don't inform me of what's going on, and yet, if Grizz doesn't inform me what's going on, yet you all are asking me questions, okay? And that's what you all are doing, asking me questions. I have to keep you all up to date and tell you as much as I can. And that's exactly what I did. So if that's exactly what I did. I believe, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, it is a gigantic mistake to have an effort where you have people such that they're not in the loop and you say to them, oh, you're not in the loop. So what? I don't tell people that. I don't have this thing where I have to feel like oh, hey, I'm, Big King Kong and I have to be in the loop and you're out of it and all this jazz. That's not right. Everybody has a value in this life. And if you want to get maximum outcome from anything, you have to figure out the role for everybody to play when you need help. Otherwise, when it's their turn at bat and they don't include you, think about how you treated them. There's an old saying, be nice to people on the way up because you have to see them on the way down. Just saying. Little itch there, all right? So it's, and I'll go on and I'll say this. I think they can win. I really do, okay? I really do. Now, Mike Zennie says, will Bay Area media downplay this effort as a joke? What Bay Area media? I don't, we're the Bay Area media, okay? We're it. I'm serious about that. So the question is, how do we keep this going to make sure the public understands the importance of it? We have to keep talking about it and pushing it. We are the media today. And I really bristle at the idea that it's somebody else other than us, okay? Or as Rick Rice says, ZNN, baby. Well, hey, if you like. I mean, I really hold that modern technology like YouTube has not been used to its fullest capabilities from any media organization. And that's what I'm trying, that's what I'm doing here, not trying to do, that's what I'm doing here. That's the trajectory. We have the platforms. I have a blog network. I have a social media network. I don't have to, and I have this. What do I have to wish for? People use smartphones in place of televisions today. This is how people get their news. They've cut the cord. So this is a beautiful time to be in media. It really is. John Marcus, Vegas will have their butts handed to them. I think the NFL will have its tush, you know what, and Vegas will come along for the ride. That's what it looks like can happen, more so than before. I'm not saying it will happen beyond a shadow of a doubt, but I'm saying it looks like they've got a great opportunity here. They really do. But I'll tell you what can blow it is if this drama seeps in. This person, as I'm not going to say who said this to me. Well, I'm concerned that that person gets credit and I don't. Or I'm concerned that that person's trying to do this and I don't get it. Or I'm concerned, forget about who gets the credit. Just win, baby. Okay? Just win, baby. That's all that matters. So, all right? That's what I say about it. All right, my question to everybody is this. And this is having to do with the Oscars we talked about. Of all the movies we talked about, okay, which one is the one that you think I should see, even if I've already seen it? All right. Now, Mike Zennie says, most friends I talk to have no idea the Vegas deal has lots of problems. No, because they've done a great job. Mike, I don't know where you live, but the mainstream media has done a great job of ignoring them. You know what? Send them here. All you've got to do is tell your friends to go to Zennie62.com and type the following words: Las Vegas NFL deficit. That's all they have to type, and then read the results. Blog post after blog post, video after video. It's all there. That's all they have to do. John Mark says Vegas will lose. Ryan says Get Out is good. I'm going to see Get Out again. I want to see that. I want to take my mom to see that. Maybe I can find it. I think Get Out might be on the television down there. We actually go down and buy. I think I'm going to buy one and just watch it tonight after this is over. I'm stopping this in 5 minutes. I think I'll do that because I'm just making. I think Mom would enjoy that. Hey, folks. If you can, whenever you can, spend as much time with your folks as you possibly can. I say that, just do it. Don't think about it, do it. You will feel. I mean, it's just a rewarding thing. It really is. Mike says, Zuna says, Santa Cruz agreed. I have been telling them about you, but then they only listen to regular media. Yeah, it's funny. Well, we have to make them change. Sell them on me, on not just me, but look, Richard Hike did this, and I will say anything. I will say to the 23 people watching right now, if you want to be a vlogger here, let me know. Make yourself known. I mean, I need to know who you are. Richard Hike stepped up. His first one, I was going to pay him. He said, no, don't pay me. That was the A's one. We did the live stream at La Estrada, which is so cool. And by the way, if you're ever in Oakland, go to La Estrada at 4th and 12th. Get the enchiladas. Food is fantastic. It's a great Oakland sports hangout place, right? Go there. But anyway, but I digress. Richard just did it. He goes, look, I'm contributing to the cause. The last 2 times, I insisted on paying him. I insisted, okay? The one that he did for me today, this live stream, I actually did 3 of them, okay? And then he did another one, another live stream for me before, all right? So a week ago. And he's done an outstanding job. He's a photography business, and he would appreciate the exposure and gets that. But yeah, I insist, and I'm not saying you're gonna get rich working with me right now, but I'm working on it, okay? But this is your investment dollars being funneled back, by the way, folks, just letting you know. So if you've invested and you're saying, hey, you know what, I want to vlog and I want to make a little coin on the side, maybe make some dinner money, right? Get some exposure, right? You can do it. And that's the way it is. And as we get more sponsor dollars and investor dollars, as we continue to ramp up, more of that money will go to the people who vlog. I want to eventually be at a place we have vloggers that are well paid around the world. They see news, they can make a video about it, post it, they can have a live stream show, they can do it. Okay? That's what I want. That's what I'm trying to build. And so, yeah, Donald Richardson says the drama has been there all day. Mike Zilla says, see Darkest Hour. I will do that. Turbo Johnson says, don't always agree, but respect your work and drive. Turbo, I appreciate that. That's the kindest thing that anyone, said to me in quite a while. And, hey, look, I am determined to really build this into something. I believe we're on to something. I really do. The time that I had the live stream on, we had Go Warriors, myself on it. Then there was times when I think Richard Hike had a live stream. I had one. I discovered by accident I could do this way. Okay? But, boom. It works. You can do it. And we need that. We need that ability to be anywhere. That's why I say the Zennie62's media's new tagline might be, we'll take you everywhere. We'll take you anywhere. Or should it be everywhere or anywhere? Or maybe we'll take you everywhere and anywhere. Whatever. Don Richardson says, I hope you're mentoring these people to carry your brand. I am. And I think in the case of Go CSU, he's young. And there's a fine line to walk. I mean, for example, with him, okay, with Go CS with Richard, all right, with Richard, the reason why I latched on to him is when he did the A's one, I gave him the guidelines as to how to do it. Basically, talk to people, interview people, show your face. Talk to people and show them what you're seeing and talk about it, right? That's what I do. Hold the camera at a movie, 16:9, horizontal, no vertical, okay? So people have done that on the channel. My friend Morgan Bach did the same thing. She, that was her first go at it. She turned the camera toward herself once because she's a little shy, but she's working through that. But she got some great live streaming. She got some even better video on demand clips that I put together and used, right? So that was outstanding. Uh, so yeah, I am mentoring them. They are, but the way that I do it is different. I'm not asking people to be just like me because that's wrong and it's a waste of time. I want people to be the best them they can be and express who they are within this medium. That's the idea. That's what vlogging is all about. This is about, I want everybody to pay attention to a book called Say Anything. I written, wow, way back in, when was that? This came out 2008. 2008, yeah. 2008. And 2008. And it was by, doggone it. Come on, Zenny. That's horrible. Who's this? Say Anything. Book. Blogging. And I'll get the, yeah. Say Everything, How Blogging Began. Scott Rosenberg. I interviewed Scott Rosenberg for an entire hour, and his name went out of my head. It was like, Scott Rosenberg. We had a great interview in Berkeley. That interview, if you go to here, Zennie62, type Scott Rosenberg, find that interview on Say Anything, you will learn about the origins of blogging. But the whole point is to have people who say what's on their mind, okay? Go, CSU says what's on his mind. He's developing himself, and yeah, I'm proud of him too. And again, I say this, that happened only with the approval and permission of his mother. If his mother had said no, it would not have happened. I insisted on talking with his mother first, because he and I had, you know, Sexy says, I'd like to do a stream, and he was trying to work his way in that area, and I said, you know what, let me talk to your mom first, okay? And that's the way you handle that. You just have to. There's no other way. I wouldn't have done it without her approval and support. That's just the way it goes. So, and I'm proud of him too. I'm absolutely. Rick Rice, you said, how long have I been trying to start this business? Well, I don't know if I'm trying to start it. It started. The Zennie62 Media, this is how it worked, okay? First of all, the way that this is happening now could not have happened without the creation of YouTube Live mobile. I don't like YouTube Live on the desktop. The encoding system is cumbersome. I purchased an encoder. It doesn't work right, so I feel like I wasted 29 bucks. But YouTube Live Mobile is the bomb. It is really outstanding. In terms of the media company itself, I've always been able to have managers on the site. But it grew, to answer your question, Rick Rice, with the change in technology. I mean, I started doing this in earnest in 2006, and Zennie62 Media, the basis of it was established in 2010. I'd already established Oakland's first blog, Oakland Focus, in 2004, and grew a blog network from that. But I then discovered a number of third-party services that allow you to efficiently send video from, let's say, YouTube to your blog, and from YouTube to your social media network, other than what the social media network allows. For example, for YouTube, I can't post to Pinterest. I could at one point, but now with these devices, I can. So I developed a giant network of this, and that's really from the basis for what I do today. The icing on the cake is YouTube Live Mobile. That's the icing on the cake. And that allowed me to accelerate the program. So it has been honed and refined with new developments in technology. So it's a tech company. That's what this is. Okay. So that's it. So yeah, it's Rick Rice says, I love how you have different personalities on your channel. Yeah, that's the idea. You know, that's what I want. I want different people. You know, I want a representation of a network, a TV network. You have person over here, person over there saying this, that, you know, that's what I want. So, and that's the idea. And I want to do it more in Oakland too, but also like to do it around here in Georgia. I want to do it everywhere, you know. But also I like being able, like when Go Warriors puts up, I keep calling Go Warriors Go CSU, right? But I know his real name, but I can't say it. But I like when he puts up something like from Denver. He gives us a window. I like when people give us windows into what's happening someplace else. That's fun, you know. That's fun. So that's the idea. So folks, it's 1:51 in the morning here, and I'm gonna bid you all adieu and say it was fun. And I'm gonna see Dunkirk, but I'm also gonna go downstairs to see what's playing on here that I might be able to see. So you say I should see what? I see Get Out, Dunkirk, The Darkest Hour, and anything else? Maybe The Shape of Water, right? And as John Marks just wrote, watch horror films, keep America strong. You know, I gotta get Kane. You know, does anyone know who Kane Hodder is? Before I close, do you know who Kane Hodder is? John Marks? Do you know who Kane Hodder is? Kane Hodder going once, Kane Hodder going twice. Don Richardson doesn't know. John Marks. Den of Thieves. You want me to see Den of Thieves? Okay. Anybody? Kane Hodder. Kane Hodder going no. You don't. John Marks, you're the horror movie king, and you don't know who Kane Hodder is. Kane Hodder played Jason in Friday the 13th. Not once, not twice, not thrice, but 4 times. Excuse me, 5 times. 5 times. And, oh, Joseph Min says, Zennie, I was wondering when you do plan on doing an overall sports vlog again. Was wondering what you thought of the USA gymnastics situation. Ooh, gosh, that's hard for me to talk about. Overall sports vlog. I mean, I can talk about it, and I see what you're saying. I'll start, but I'm glad you mentioned that. I'll start doing those again. That's just hard for me to talk about, just because it just is. I just normally don't talk about stuff like that. On the channel, I think part of it is it's sensitive, and YouTube's algorithms are adjusted in such a way that when you bring it up, depending on certain factors, your ads are limited, and that's the primary reason why I don't go in that direction. To be honest with you, we are moving into a place in society where a lot of previously very sensitive and taboo subjects are brought directly in the mainstream, along with a language that has been associated with them, and it butts right up against what advertisers tell YouTube, or me for that matter, what they want to pay for or not. It's really a dicey time, and so I choose to avoid certain subjects for that reason, and that's why. You know, talking about women athletes like Jen Welter, I had her on as a guest. That'd be, you know, it's great. Something positive, right? Absolutely. John Marks says he forgot to put Jason Voorhees. Anyway, but that's the reason. All right, I am. I'm out. I'm out tomorrow. Yes, then Thursday is. If I do, Thursday may be a travel day. Well, it is a travel day. So if I do a live stream, it'll be early from the airport. And so Donald Richard says, so the hashtag #MeToo won't be covered. No, I'm going to avoid that, and I'm going to avoid it for the reason that I'm going to avoid it for the simple reason of the language that comes with it, and the fact that, again, uh, it points to. I'm not going to avoid it entirely. I've talked about it. In fact, I did a video on Oprah in her speech at the Golden Globes, so I didn't entirely avoid that. Okay, but at all, at all. And the fact that I would echo Oprah shows you how I feel. Okay, but I've never waded in that territory, so I don't know why. Yeah, Oprah was positive. I've never waded into that territory. I've talked about politics. This has been politics, news, sports, and tech. That's what this has been. Now, when I champion causes, I've covered causes, like, for example, Proposition 8, or a number of efforts to legalize gay marriage. I've covered events that were pro that in the Bay Area. I've covered a number of democratic causes. You know, that's the contribution that I made. It's being there to give you an eye, a window as to what's going on. Cover a number of protests, a large number of them. A large number of them. We have almost 13,000 videos on this channel. This is a TV network unto itself. You can have a TV network right here, okay? So, John Rich says you'd like to cover Caps 10 for 10? Okay. Yeah, so I made that contribution, and I made that contribution, absolutely. But I'm very much afraid, and that's the right word to use. I'm afraid of scaring away what little ad revenue I made, because it's going down. You have to remember, YouTube, this all comes in the middle of the YouTube apocalypse, where advertisers have pulled billions of dollars of ads because they didn't want their ads associated with sensitive topics. So why am I going to wade into a sensitive topic area knowing that it's going to harm my ad revenue? And not only that, I made a pledge with myself that I was going to cover tech far more often. Tech far more often, okay? I saw that Warriors scored. The Knicks, did I read that right? The Knicks beat the Warriors? What? Anyway, so I am not going to the Super Bowl. No. I did not seek a credential for the Super Bowl. I did, however, get an offer to buy tickets from the NFL at face. I'm not going to do that, though. I'm going to watch it with Mom and here. You know, we may very well watch it here, okay? We're still trying to figure that out. But I'm trying to, I just want to spend time with my mom. And, yeah, that's what I want to do. Warriors win. There we go. All right. But again, I'm really not one to cover sensitive topics like that here. I never have been. At all. Personalities, interviews, and tech. More tech. Much more. CES stuff, outstanding. So we're going to get a lot more tech, a lot more personalities. And for this reason, 2 words, Lawnmower Man. I asked this question before, but I'm saying that we are approaching what I call the Lawnmower Man era. And I want to have futurists on here to talk about that. Hey, how do we change? What's the stuff about robots, right? Robots, all right? Robots. And robots for different purposes. You know what I mean? Drones. I want to do some drone vlogging, right? My focus has always been tech-oriented. I don't want to get away from that. I want to enhance that. And I want to, again, get back to the kind of futurist thinking that I had when I was a teenager. I miss that. I miss that. Robots in Japan. Donald says, Apple Campus, get past there. And that's a great idea, Donald. The Apple Campus idea, that's a great one. I like that one. I like that one. Apple Campus. Yeah, I'm overdue for a visit to that place. All right, folks. Dilly dilly. Or as I say, dilly dilly. Now, if you happen to, as I close, if you happen to be an established news person and you want to vlog, hey, reach out. There's room. See you guys. See you guys.